Welcome back, my fellow gorehounds, to From the Crypt. I am Baron Bones, and today we're doing something a little different on the show. You see, I planned to do a video on Ghosthouse last week, but because of certain issues, I couldn't record or post a video last week. So to make up for it, I'm doing a double feature this week of Ghosthouse and Witchery. Let's explain a little bit. So these two movies are linked for one reason. They technically both belong in the La Casa franchise. Now most of you are asking, what is the La Casa franchise? Well, it's technically Evil Dead. You see, La Casa 1 and 2 are Evil Dead 1 and 2. It was decided in Italy to rebrand those movies to La Casa. And some Italian producer realized that they could cash in on that by marketing certain movies to being in the same franchise, even though they had nothing to do with Evil Dead. Enter Ghosthouse. And let's just say that might have been smart, considering Ghosthouse has absolutely nothing setting it apart from any other standard supernatural horror movie. I'm getting ahead of myself a little. Ghosthouse is about this group of college students, I think, based off of what their ages appear to be like. We're never really told how old most of these characters are, who wander into this house that, of course, turns out to be haunted. I know, the movie called Ghosthouse is about a haunted house. Anyway, they are slowly picked off one by one by this mysterious girl and her doll. And everything seems to be linked to this double homicide that happened in this house about 20 years ago. Ghosthouse, when I say it's standard, I mean it follows all the beats of your standard supernatural horror movie. There's a house, these random characters find themselves in the house, and they don't leave for some reason, even though every common sense tells them they should just leave the house. Ghosthouse isn't bad at times. There are some good horror setups here, and the certain scenes where characters are killed off are fun to watch. However, when characters are not in the house and are just investigating what's happening, it feels kind of redundant and unnecessary, as, to be honest, we don't need an explanation. This house is haunted, creepy girl haunting the house. Don't really need to know why. I just really want to see some fun kills. And, like I said, Ghosthouse delivers on that point. It just takes its time sometimes to try to explain what's going on and give out redundant information over and over again. So, that leaves the characters, and they're not all that interesting. They're your standard archetypes, and they don't really have any discernible personality. This isn't helped by the fact that some of the performances are really wooden, or some of them are just overacting. Then you have the visuals, which are all fine here. There's nothing terrible about the visuals in Ghosthouse, they're just not great. Then you have the music, and it's really decent in this film. At the end of the day, Ghosthouse is perfectly fine and serviceable. I can see why they decided to market it as Evil Dead 3, as there really was no way this film was going to have any success otherwise, as, like I said, it's really standard. But it was successful, apparently, because they decided to do this again with Witchery. Oh dear God. So if Ghosthouse is fine and standard, Witchery is the opposite of fine standard. It's terribly standard. So Witchery, house, haunted by a curse and some witch. Apparently there's some passageways to hell, and this group of people find themselves trapped in this haunted hotel because of some bad weather. Yeah, so the story here is not terrible. I mean, yes, it's similar to Ghosthouse in the sense that characters trapped in the house for some reason and cannot leave. At least this time, though, they actually can't leave. There's no way for them to get off the island. That being said, oh dear God, all these characters are terrible. We have an annoying kid, annoying parents, a creepy dude, and David Hasselhoff, who has no other personality than being David Hasselhoff. Yeah. Speaking of performances, everyone in this film clearly was in it for the paycheck, as no one is trying here. Literally, no one seems to care about the movie they're in. They're all just delivering their lines as one note and wooden as possible. The visuals, well, the gore effects aren't that bad actually here. And the cinematography's not bad either. The music's fine, nothing different. But, God, it's clear that Witchery had no one really caring about the movie and was just a simple cash grab. At least Ghosthouse, I could say people tried, where Witchery definitely didn't have that. At the end of the day, if you're interested in checking out these movies, definitely check out Ghosthouse because there are some fun moments. If you're interested in checking out Witchery, don't. There is no reason to watch Witchery. If you're interested in seeing David Hasselhoff and Linda Blair in the same movie together, well, I got news for you. Just because they're in the same movie together doesn't mean that you're going to get some good performances. As, like I said, no one seems to care about Witchery. Well, we're coming to the end of From the Crypt. But we have one more video. The Halloween video. And what better way to celebrate All Hallows Eve than talking about some Vincent Price movies? This year, I'll be talking about The Fly and the Return of the Fly. See you then. And as always, stay terrified.